In the farthest reaches of the Northern Hemisphere, two immense wild realms endure, Alaska and Siberia. These are places where the land stretches beyond the horizon, cloaked in a silence broken only by the wind and the distant call of wild creatures. Here, endless forests of spruce and larch stand locked in winter's embrace, their branches heavy with crystalline frost. The snow lies deep and undisturbed, blanketing the earth in a seamless white. Frozen rivers wind through the landscape, their surfaces glinting beneath the pale winter sun, carving silent, meandering paths through the wilderness. In these latitudes, the sun barely crests the horizon during the long winter months, casting elongated blue shadows that stretch across the tundra. The days are fleeting, and the nights seem endless, months of darkness illuminated only by the ethereal glow of the aurora borealis, shimmering in ribbons of green and violet across the sky. In these lands, survival demands strength and cunning. The Alaskan brown bear, its dense fur layered for insulation, lumbers through deep drifts, each step deliberate and powerful. In the shadowed forests of Siberia, the elusive tiger moves with ghostly grace, its striped coat blending seamlessly with the frost-laden undergrowth, every muscle poised for the hunt. Every predator here is a master of its domain, surveying a kingdom sculpted by ice and silence. The landscape itself is a formidable adversary. Open plains swept by biting winds, forests dense and impenetrable, and mountains rising like frozen fortresses. We journey through shadowed forests where ancient trees stand sentinel, their trunks wrapped in snow, and across open plains where wolves and caribou trace invisible trails, their movements etching fleeting stories into the snow. Each creature has evolved remarkable strategies. Snowshoe hares, nearly invisible against the snow, freeze in place to avoid detection. Musk oxen, their thick coats rimed with frost, huddle together in tight formations, forming living barricades against the relentless blizzard. In Alaska, the brown bear braves the icy torrent of rivers, standing motionless as it waits for the flash of salmon beneath the surface, its breath rising in clouds in the frigid air. In Siberia, the tiger lies low among snow-dusted trees, conserving precious energy, every sense attuned to the faintest sound of prey. Though separated by a vast ocean, Alaska and Siberia are united by their extremes, bitter cold that tests the limits of endurance, fleeting summers that bring a brief explosion of life, and a relentless cycle of change that shapes every living thing. For every animal, life is a daily test. Wolves, lean and hungry, prowl the snowfields in search of elusive prey, their tracks weaving through the drifts. Deep within snowy dens, mother bears cradle their cubs, the warmth of their bodies a fragile shield against the cold. The lynx, with its tufted ears and wide-furred paws, slips silently through Siberian thickets, leaving barely a trace in the powdery snow. In Alaska, the wolverine, fierce and solitary, navigates rocky slopes and frozen ravines, undeterred by the harshest conditions. Every tree, every frozen river, every winding track in the snow reveals the hidden drama of survival, stories written in footprints, in the sudden flutter of wings, in the silent passage of shadow through the forest. Life here is subtle and secretive. Ptarmigan, their plumage perfectly matched to the snow, vanish among tangled branches. Reindeer herds, their coats pale and thick, merge with the endless white, moving as one across the frozen expanse. These are lands where storms sweep unchallenged across the horizon, their fury transforming the landscape in moments. Animals endure, heads bowed against the wind, their bodies shaped by generations of survival in nature's harshest crucible. Beneath the shimmering aurora, predators stalk their prey under skies painted with colour and cloud. The world here is vast and untamed, a realm where time seems to stand still, and every moment is a contest between life and the elements. This is the story of the last great wildernesses, Alaska and Siberia, where the wild endures, untouched and unbroken, and every heartbeat is a testament to the power, resilience, and breathtaking beauty of nature. Deep within the untamed heart of Alaska, the brown bear emerges as a living emblem of raw strength and relentless survival. Its presence is felt long before it is seen, a silent force moving through the dense forests and open tundra, commanding respect from all who share its domain. As one of the largest terrestrial predators on the planet, the Alaskan brown bear dominates both tundra and woodland. Its immense bulk, sometimes exceeding 1,200 pounds, moves with surprising grace, casting a formidable shadow across the wind-swept landscape. Each strand of its dense, oily fur insulates against the biting Arctic winds, while thick layers of muscle ripple beneath the surface, engineered for power and endurance. The bear's claws, curved and formidable, tear through frozen earth in search of roots or rip apart rotting logs to uncover hidden insects. When necessary, it can break into a sudden sprint, reaching speeds that defy its size. During the endless daylight of summer and the golden hush of autumn, the brown bear becomes a tireless forager. Along icy rivers, it stands poised, eyes fixed on the shimmering bodies of salmon fighting upstream. With a swift swipe, it snatches its prey from the torrent. In the forests, it gorges on ripe berries, stripping bushes bare, and scavenges for carrion, each meal building the reserves it will need to survive the coming winter. As the first snowflakes drift silently to earth, the bear's instincts drive it to seek shelter. It excavates a den beneath tangled roots or deep within a hillside, retreating into darkness as the world above is buried in snow. Here, in a state of torpor, its heartbeat slows to a fraction of its summer rhythm, and it draws life from the fat stores accumulated during months of feasting. Sharing this frozen expanse is the Alaskan moose, the largest member of the deer family. Towering over the undergrowth, this solitary giant moves with deliberate grace through the snow-laden conifer forests, its breath steaming in the frigid air. The bull moose's antlers, broad and palmate, can span more than 6 feet from tip to tip. These massive structures are not only displays of dominance, but also formidable weapons in violent autumn clashes, where rivals battle for the right to mate. In winter, the antlers become tools, sweeping snow from low branches to reveal hidden brows. With legs like stilts, the moose navigates drifts that would entrap lesser animals. Each step is measured and silent, the animal's splayed hooves distributing its weight to prevent it from sinking into the powdery snow. In the muffled quiet of winter, the moose becomes a ghostly presence, gliding through the white wilderness. Even in the depths of winter, the moose braves the icy waters of rivers and lakes, plunging its head beneath the surface to feed on submerged aquatic plants. Its thick, insulating coat and specialized nose warm the frigid air before it reaches the lungs, allowing the moose to thrive where few others can. Despite its imposing stature, the moose is a gentle browser. It shapes the forest by feeding on saplings, twigs, and the tender shoots of aquatic plants, leaving behind a mosaic of pruned branches and trampled snow, a subtle but vital influence on the ecosystem. Yet the moose's world is fraught with danger. From the shadows, brown bears and wolf packs watch with patient eyes, ever alert for a sign of weakness. But a healthy adult moose, with its size and strength, is a daunting adversary, one not easily brought down. With a single explosive kick, the moose can shatter bone, sending even the boldest predator fleeing into the trees. Its acute senses, keen hearing, sharp eyesight, and a powerful sense of smell are its first line of defense, alerting it to danger long before it strikes. On rare occasions, the paths of bear and moose intersect, two titans of the north, each sculpted by the relentless demands of this harsh land. Their encounters are tense, a silent negotiation between predator and prey, both essential to the balance of this wild ecosystem. As the seasons shift from the blinding white of winter to the vibrant green of spring, both bear and moose adapt with remarkable resilience. Their lives are a testament to the power of adaptation, each season bringing new challenges and opportunities for survival. In this unforgiving wilderness, only the strongest endure. Every day is a test of strength and ingenuity, every season a triumph of survival against the odds. Here, the brown bear and the moose are not just survivors, they are the enduring spirit of Alaska itself. Beneath the ethereal glow of the northern lights, the chilling howl of the grey wolf echoes through the snow-laden forests of Alaska. The sound reverberates across the frozen landscape, a spectral signal that unites the pack in the vast, silent wilderness. Each note of the howl is a thread in the tapestry of wolf society, weaving together family bonds and signalling the start of another night's relentless quest for survival. In the heart of the tundra, the grey wolf pack advances as a single fluid entity. Each wolf moves with purpose, their bodies angled low against the biting wind, eyes scanning the white expanse for any sign of prey. Subtle gestures, an ear flick, a tail raised, a sidelong glance, convey complex messages, coordinating the group's every move. Their unity is forged in the crucible of winter, where the margin between life and death is razor-thin, and only the most cohesive packs endure. Led by the seasoned alpha pair, the pack launches into action, orchestrating hunts with remarkable precision. They weave through snow-laden forests and surge across open plains, their movements synchronized by instinct and experience. The wolves fan out, flanking their quarry, driving it into the open and isolating the weakest. Their primary targets, caribou and moose, are formidable, but the wolves' strategy is relentless, exploiting every opportunity the harsh terrain provides. Endurance is the wolves' greatest asset. Their dense, double-layered fur shields them from the sub-zero temperatures, while powerful limbs propel them across the tundra for hours on end. As they run, their paws splay wide, distributing their weight and allowing them to glide over the powdery snow. The wind lashes at their coats, sending tufts of fur swirling into the air, but hunger and instinct drive them ever forward, undeterred by the elements. Each wolf assumes a specialized role within the hunt. Some surge ahead, driving the herd into confusion, while others anticipate the prey's escape routes, lying in wait to intercept. Their silent coordination is the result of generations of adaptation, honed by the unforgiving demands of the Arctic. In these moments, the pack becomes a living organism, each member attuned to the others, maximizing their collective strength. The wolves' keen senses allow them to single out the vulnerable, the old, the sick, or the injured within the caribou herd. With calculated precision, they encircle their target, testing its resolve and stamina. This selective predation not only ensures the wolves' survival, but also strengthens the caribou population, as only the fittest animals endure the relentless winter. Across the tundra, herds of caribou graze with constant vigilance. Every movement is measured, every sound scrutinized, as the ever-present threat of wolves lingers at the edge of their awareness. The wolves' silent observation shapes the caribou's behavior, compelling them to remain alert and mobile, never lingering too long in one place. Caribou are the nomads of the north, embarking on epic migrations that span thousands of kilometers across the frozen expanse. From the dense forests of Alaska to the windswept plains of Siberia, they traverse icy rivers and snow-clad mountains in search of food, safety, and calving grounds. Their journey is a testament to endurance, guided by ancient instincts and the shifting rhythm of the seasons. The caribou's broad, crescent-shaped hooves are perfectly adapted for the Arctic. Each step spreads their weight, allowing them to move effortlessly atop deep snow and soft tundra. Their tracks, pressed into the white landscape, trace the passage of entire herds, an ancient script written across the winter wilderness. Their coats are marvels of natural engineering. Each hollow hair traps air, forming an insulating barrier that locks in warmth and repels moisture. Snowflakes drift down, settling on their fur without melting, as the caribou's body heat remains sealed within, untouched by the bitter cold. Both male and female caribou bear antlers, a rarity among deer. These formidable tools serve many purposes: defending against predators, foraging beneath the snow, and establishing dominance within the herd. In winter, antlered silhouettes clash and intertwine, a ritual of strength and survival played out against the stark white backdrop. The migration is a spectacle of endurance and determination. Herds surge across frozen rivers, their hooves breaking through thin ice, and ascend snow-draped mountains, navigating treacherous slopes with practiced agility. Each obstacle overcome is a testament to their resilience and the unyielding drive to survive. In these wild expanses, predator and prey are locked in a perpetual contest. The wolf's pursuit sharpens the caribou's senses, while the caribou's endurance tests the wolf's resolve. Every chase is a high-stakes drama played out against the backdrop of snow and silence. The struggle between wolf and caribou leaves an indelible mark on the land. Trails carved through snow, trampled riverbanks, and scattered tufts of fur all bear witness to the ongoing dance of survival. This dynamic shapes the ecosystem, influencing the distribution of plants, the movement of herds, and the very character of the wilderness itself. Here, survival is a dance of adaptation and instinct. Wolves and caribou alike must read the shifting patterns of weather, snow, and each other, evolving with every season. Their movements are a living response to the challenges of the Arctic, a testament to the power of adaptation in the face of adversity. The intertwined paths of wolf and caribou tell the enduring story of the North, a narrative of resilience, balance, and the raw, untamed beauty of life on the edge of the world. Their tracks cross and diverge, each marking a chapter in the ongoing saga of survival. In this realm of ice and wind, every journey is a testament to the will to survive. The lone caribou presses forward through the blizzard, the wolf forges ahead through the storm, each driven by instinct, each embodying the spirit of the wild. Here, only the most resilient endure, and the wilderness remains forever untamed. As spring loosens winter's grip, Alaska's rivers awaken with the thunder of melting snow. From the vast, frigid Pacific, millions of salmon surge inland, their bodies shimmering beneath the surface as they fill the waterways in a living tide. The river, once silent beneath ice, now pulses with movement and life. Driven by instincts honed over countless generations, the salmon press forward. They hurl themselves against roaring waterfalls, their muscles straining as they vault over ledges and through foaming rapids. Each leap is a battle against gravity and water, their scales scraped raw by jagged rocks and swirling debris. The river's current is relentless, but so is their determination. Only the most resilient will endure this punishing ascent. Along the banks, brown bears stand motionless, their fur slick with river spray, eyes fixed on the swirling water. With a sudden swipe, a bear snatches a salmon mid-leap, jaws closing around its prize. Overhead, bald eagles glide in slow circles, their wings casting fleeting shadows as they dive with precision, talons extended for a fleeting catch. In the dim undergrowth, wolves linger, their gaze sharp and patient, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The river transforms into a stage for survival, where predator and prey are bound in a silent, ancient contest. At journey's end, the battered survivors reach the shallow gravel beds of their birth. Here, in the gentle current, they dig nests and release their eggs, completing a cycle that began years before. Exhausted, their bodies soon succumb, littering the banks and riverbed. As they decompose, their flesh and bones dissolve into the earth and water, releasing a surge of nutrients, phosphorus, nitrogen and carbon that will nourish the land for months to come. Bears drag their catches deep into the mossy forest, leaving behind trails of bones and flesh. These remnants become a feast for beetles, fungi, and a host of unseen scavengers. Even the roots of towering spruce and hemlock trees absorb the bounty, their needles growing greener and denser thanks to the nutrients carried far from the river's edge. The salmon's epic migration forges a vital link between ocean, river, and forest. Nutrients gathered in the distant sea are transported upstream, enriching the soil and fueling the growth of plants. The river becomes a living artery, connecting the wild heart of Alaska from the coast to the deepest woods. In years when salmon numbers dwindle, the consequences ripple outward. Bears, deprived of their richest food source, struggle to build the fat reserves needed to survive the long frozen winter. The forests, starved of marine nutrients, grow thinner, their foliage less vibrant, their growth stunted. The absence of salmon is felt in every corner of the ecosystem. Salmon are the keystone of this wild domain. Their presence shapes the fate of rivers, forests, and all who dwell within. Insects thrive on their remains, birds nest in trees fed by their nutrients, and predators depend on their annual return. The entire ecosystem pulses with life, orchestrated by the salmon's journey. From the gravel beds, new life stirs. Tiny fry emerge, feeding on the rich nutrients left by their ancestors. As they grow, they learn to navigate the clear, cold waters, preparing for the long journey downstream. When the time comes, they transform into sleek smolts, their bodies adapting for the salt water ahead, and slip away toward the open ocean. The Salmon Run is a spectacle of endurance and renewal, a living pulse that surges through Alaska's wild heart. The rivers teem with life, the forests flourish, and the land itself is transformed by this annual migration. Every creature, from the smallest insect burrowing in the soil to the mightiest bear fishing in the rapids, is bound together by the salmon's return. The riverbank becomes a tapestry of life, woven from the threads of this ancient migration. The fate of the land, the river, and its wild inhabitants is inseparable from this epic journey, repeated for millennia. The landscape itself is shaped by the salmon's relentless passage. In Alaska, the struggle of the salmon is more than a migration. It is the heartbeat of the wild, echoing through every living thing, from the rushing river to the silent forest at dawn. Beyond the icy expanse of the Bering Strait, Siberia emerges, a colossal wilderness, dwarfing Alaska in both scale and severity. Here, winter dominates for nearly 10 months each year, transforming the land into a seemingly endless horizon of white, where the sun's pale light glimmers off snowfields that stretch as far as the eye can see. The taiga, an immense ocean of coniferous trees, forms the largest forest ecosystem on Earth. In the heart of winter, each spruce and pine is weighed down by thick layers of snow, their branches drooping under the icy burden. The forest floor vanishes beneath a deep, unbroken blanket, muffling every sound and creating a world of profound stillness. Travelling northward, the dense green of the taiga gradually fades, giving way to the stark, treeless tundra. Here, the landscape is stripped bare, an open, windswept expanse where only the hardiest mosses and lichens cling to life. The Arctic Ocean lies just beyond, its frozen coastline battered by relentless frigid winds that sweep across the tundra, sculpting the snow into rippling drifts. In this realm, life is forged by adversity. Blizzards descend without warning, their howling winds driving snow into towering drifts that can swallow the land for days. Reindeer, with thick coats and powerful legs, press forward in tight herds, their muzzles sweeping the snow aside as they search for the lichen hidden beneath the frozen crust. Each step is a battle against exhaustion and cold. Deep within the shadowed forests, the Siberian tiger, largest of all wild cats, moves with ghostly precision. Its thick, striped coat blends seamlessly with the dappled light and snow, while massive fur-padded paws distribute its weight, allowing it to glide silently atop the crusted surface. Every muscle is tuned for stealth, every movement a careful calculation between hunger and concealment. Farther north, the frozen tundra becomes the domain of the polar bear. These giants, insulated by dense fur and a thick layer of fat, traverse the ice with deliberate power. Mothers lead their cubs across the desolate expanse, teaching them to hunt for seals at breathing holes and to endure the biting winds that sweep across the wasteland. Siberia's mighty rivers, the Lena and Yenisei, transform each winter into frozen highways, their surfaces locked in ice several meters thick. Across these gleaming corridors, herds of reindeer migrate in single file, their hooves leaving crisp tracks in the snow. Solitary predators follow these trails, drawn by the promise of prey in the vast emptiness. Beneath the apparent silence, the taiga teems with hidden life. The delicate imprint of a paw pressed into fresh snow, the sudden quiver of undergrowth. Each subtle sign betrays the presence of creatures locked in a constant struggle for survival. Foxes, hares and weasels weave unseen paths, foraging and evading predators in the hush of the forest. As dusk settles, the haunting call of the snow owl pierces the twilight. Perched on a frost-laden branch, it surveys the landscape with piercing yellow eyes. With wings engineered for silent flight, the owl glides effortlessly above the snow, its acute hearing tuned to the faintest rustle beneath the surface, ready to strike at unsuspecting prey. When the brief Siberian summer arrives, the land erupts into a frenzy of life. The snow recedes, revealing a patchwork of moss and wildflowers. Animals emerge from hibernation, parents tirelessly feed their young, and every creature races to take advantage of the fleeting warmth, feeding, mating and raising offspring before the relentless cold returns. Only the most resilient survive these extremes. Wolf packs, bound by loyalty and cooperation, brave the fiercest blizzards together, their howls echoing through the storm. The lynx, solitary and elusive, stalks its prey with patience, its tufted ears and sharp eyes attuned to the faintest movement beneath the snow. Despite the unforgiving climate, Siberia's wilderness remains largely untouched by human hands. Here, wild animals roam freely through pristine forests and open tundra, and the ancient balance of predator and prey endures, preserved in its purest form. In this land of extremes, each sunrise signals a new trial of endurance. Animals brace against the biting wind and swirling snow, their every action a testament to the relentless power of adaptation and the enduring spirit of life in Siberia. Deep within the endless frost-bitten expanse of Siberia, the Siberian tiger, largest and most powerful of all wild cats, moves with a grace that belies its immense strength. Its massive frame glides silently between ancient snow-laden trees, each step calculated and deliberate, the only evidence of its passage a fleeting shadow among the trunks and a whisper of disturbed snow. The tiger's bold black stripes ripple across its thick golden-orange coat, perfectly echoing the shifting shadows of the tiger. This natural camouflage allows it to melt into the dappled light and darkness, rendering the predator nearly invisible as it weaves through the undergrowth, unseen by wary prey and rival carnivores alike. Its fur is a marvel of adaptation, dense, layered, and luxuriously thick, each strand trapping precious warmth against the bitter cold. As the tiger rests, its breath crystallizes in the frigid air, while a substantial layer of fat beneath the skin insulates vital organs and stores energy, sustaining the animal through months when prey is scarce and temperatures plunge to -40 degrees Celsius. Its paws, broad and fur-lined, function as natural snowshoes. Each step is cushioned and spread wide, allowing the tiger to move effortlessly atop deep drifts. The snow yields only faint, rounded impressions, silent signatures of a master hunter passing through a world muffled by winter. The Siberian tiger's hunting technique is a study in patience and precision. It advances slowly, body pressed low, using every snowbank and fallen log for concealment. Muscles tense beneath its striped coat as it closes the gap. Then, without warning, it explodes into action, covering ground in powerful bounds to ambush wild boar or red deer, its preferred prey in this frozen wilderness. As a solitary apex predator, the Siberian tiger exerts a profound influence on its ecosystem. By regulating populations of large herbivores, it prevents overgrazing and helps maintain the delicate equilibrium of the forest, ensuring that the ancient tiger remains vibrant and diverse. Each tiger commands a vast territory, sometimes spanning over 1,000 square kilometers. It marks its domain with scent and deep claw marks on tree trunks, silent warnings to rivals that this land and its precious resources are claimed. These boundaries are essential for survival, reducing conflict and ensuring enough prey for each solitary hunter. Yet these magnificent cats are now rare phantoms in their own domain. The relentless advance of logging and habitat fragmentation, coupled with the ever-present threat of poaching, have driven their numbers to perilous lows. The once continuous forests are now interrupted by scars of human encroachment, leaving the tiger increasingly isolated. The fate of the Siberian tiger is inseparable from the fate of these ancient forests. As the wilderness shrinks and fragments, so too does the tiger's world, its survival hanging in the balance, dependent on the preservation of vast unbroken tracts of taiga. At sunrise, atop a snowy ridge, the tiger surveys its kingdom. Its breath steams in the cold dawn, and its roar echoes through the silent forest, a declaration of resilience and sovereignty. Here, in the wild heart of Siberia, the tiger endures, a living emblem of untamed spirit and raw survival. The destiny of this majestic predator is bound to the wilderness itself. To protect the Siberian tiger is to safeguard the last great forests of the north, a world where wildness still reigns and where the silent passage of a tiger through the snow remains a symbol of nature's enduring power. Along the remote, windswept Arctic shores, the polar bear reigns as the undisputed monarch of the ice. Towering above the frozen landscape, this solitary giant is a masterpiece of evolutionary engineering, sculpted by millennia to endure the planet's most unforgiving climate. Its sheer mass and formidable strength make it the largest land carnivore, but it is the bear's intricate adaptations that truly set it apart. Every feature, from its nose to its claws, is honed for survival in a world of endless cold and shifting ice. Beneath a dense, water-repellent coat of translucent fur, the polar bear's jet-black skin absorbs and retains the faintest warmth from the pale Arctic sun. Each hollow hair acts as a tiny insulator, trapping air and shedding water after icy swims. Beneath this, a thick layer of blubber, sometimes exceeding 4 inches, forms a vital barrier against the biting cold, storing energy for lean times and providing buoyancy as the bear glides effortlessly through frigid, ice-choked seas. The polar bear's hunting strategy is a masterclass in patience and precision. Motionless for hours, it waits beside seal breathing holes, its massive body blending seamlessly with the snow and ice. With an acute sense of smell, it can detect a seal's breath from nearly a kilometre away, timing its strike with split-second accuracy as the unsuspecting prey surfaces for air. In the water, the polar bear is transformed into a silent, tireless swimmer. Its enormous forepaws, webbed and powerful, propel it across vast expanses of broken ice. The bear can swim for days without rest, covering more than 60 miles in a single journey, navigating shifting flows and plunging into the icy depths in pursuit of seals or stable hunting grounds. Sharing this stark frozen expanse is the reindeer, known in North America as the caribou, a tireless nomad and one of the Arctic's most resilient herbivores. Every aspect of its existence is dictated by the rhythm of the seasons and the relentless demands of migration as it traverses some of the harshest terrain on Earth. Each year, immense herds of reindeer embark on epic migrations, travelling hundreds of miles across open tundra and dense taiga. They brave blizzards, cross frozen rivers, and navigate treacherous ice, their synchronized movement forming a living river of endurance and determination. This journey is driven by the search for scarce food and the need to reach safe calving grounds, where new life can begin. The reindeer's survival hinges on its remarkable adaptations. Its double-layered coat traps insulating air, while hollow guard hairs repel moisture and snow, keeping the animal warm and dry. Broad, crescent-shaped hooves act as natural snowshoes, spreading wide to support its weight on soft drifts and digging through ice to uncover hidden lichen, their primary winter food. Uniquely among deer, both male and female reindeer grow antlers. These versatile tools are used to forage beneath the snow, unearthing lichen and moss, and to defend against rivals during the rut. Constant grazing and digging shape the tundra itself, as reindeer uncover the vegetation that sustains them and in turn influence the Arctic landscape. Reindeer are a keystone species, their presence nourishing a host of Arctic predators, from wolves to bears. The survival of these carnivores depends on the vast herds, while scavengers and even the smallest Arctic foxes benefit from the remains left behind, weaving a complex web of interdependence across the tundra. The pulse of reindeer migration breathes life into the tundra, redistributing nutrients with every step. Their hooves churn the soil, their droppings fertilize the land, and their movement shapes the very ecosystem, ensuring the survival of countless other species. In this realm of perpetual winter, survival is a relentless test of movement, adaptation, and unyielding resilience. Every creature, from the mightiest bear to the smallest rodent, must evolve ingenious strategies or face extinction in the face of the Arctic's merciless cold. The polar bear and the reindeer, each a living emblem of Arctic endurance, stand as testaments to nature's ingenuity. They thrive where few others dare, their lives shaped by ice, migration, and the eternal struggle for survival. Their intertwined destinies, forged by the cycles of ice and migration, reveal the extraordinary strategies that make life possible in the world's coldest wilderness, a place where only the most remarkable can endure. In the immense frozen wilderness of Alaska and Siberia, life is a daily battle against the elements. Here, winter is not merely a season. It is a relentless, omnipresent force, sculpting the land and dictating the fate of every animal that calls it home. The landscape stretches endlessly, blanketed in snow and battered by howling winds, where temperatures routinely plunge far below freezing. In this world of extremes, survival demands extraordinary adaptations. The Arctic fox, curled tightly in the snow, is wrapped in a coat of dense multi-layered fur that insulates it from the bitter cold. Each hair traps air, creating a barrier that locks in precious body heat. Nearby, the muskox stands resolute in the blizzard, its massive frame cloaked in a shaggy outer layer and a soft, downy underwool called kiviut, one of the warmest natural fibres on Earth, 8 times warmer than sheep's wool. These insulating layers are not just protection, they are lifelines, allowing these animals to endure wind chills that would freeze exposed skin in minutes. Beneath the surface, fat reserves are a hidden shield. Brown bears, before the first snow falls, gorge on berries, fish and roots, building thick layers of fat that will sustain them through the long, dark months of hibernation. Deep in their snowy dens, their heart rates slow, and their bodies draw energy from these reserves, allowing them to survive without food or water until spring. On the icy shores, walruses haul out onto the frozen ground, their bodies insulated by a thick layer of blubber. This fat not only keeps them warm in frigid waters, but also serves as a vital energy store when the sea is locked in ice and food is scarce. In these harsh conditions, unity becomes a powerful survival tool. Wolves, with their thick winter coats, huddle together for warmth, sharing body heat as they rest. When hunger drives them to hunt, they move as a coordinated pack, their teamwork allowing them to pursue prey across deep snowdrifts where a lone hunter would fail. Muskoxen, when threatened by predators or the biting wind, form tight defensive circles, placing their vulnerable young in the centre and presenting a wall of horns and fur to the outside world. This collective defence is crucial for survival in a landscape where danger is ever present. For some species, survival means constant movement. Caribou and reindeer undertake epic migrations, travelling hundreds of miles across the tundra in search of food and more tolerable conditions. Their hooves are specially adapted to break through snow and ice, allowing them to reach lichen buried beneath the frozen surface. Overhead, flocks of birds sense the shortening days and dropping temperatures. In synchronized waves, they take flight, heading south to escape the deep freeze, their journeys guided by instinct and the subtle cues of the changing season. Every adaptation is a finely tuned response to the environment's demands. The Arctic fox's fur shifts from brown to white, providing perfect camouflage against the snow and protecting it from predators. Musk oxen use their powerful hooves to dig through thick snow, uncovering hidden plants that sustain them through the winter. Wolves, faced with dwindling prey, alter their hunting strategies, tracking herds over vast distances and working together to outmaneuver even the most elusive quarry. The landscape itself is a formidable adversary. Blizzards can erase all scent trails, making it nearly impossible for predators to track prey. Deep snow and shifting ice create hidden dangers. One misstep can mean injury or death. Only those animals that can read the subtle signs of the land and adapt their behaviour to its ever-changing moods can hope to survive. Each day is a relentless struggle for warmth and nourishment. Predators and prey are locked in a delicate, ever-shifting balance, their fates intertwined by the demands of the Arctic. In this world, survival is never guaranteed. It is earned through resilience, ingenuity, and an unyielding will to endure the coldest extremes nature can offer. From above, Alaska and Siberia reveal themselves as immense, untamed expanses, endless tundra stretching beneath a sky brushed with icy clouds, and mountain ranges cloaked in snow, their peaks rising like ancient sentinels over dense, shadowy forests. These are among the last places on Earth where wilderness dominates, where the land remains largely untouched by human hands, and the raw beauty of nature is on full display. Across these sweeping landscapes, the ancient drama of survival unfolds each day. Wolves, lean and focused, move silently through the open tundra, their eyes fixed on distant caribou herds. In the shadowed boreal forests, lynx and foxes weave between the trees, while eagles circle overhead, scanning for movement below. Every predator and prey interaction is a delicate balance, maintaining the intricate web of life that supports the region's astonishing biodiversity. But this wild equilibrium is under threat. The Arctic sea ice, once a solid platform for polar bears, now fractures and melts at an alarming rate, forcing these apex predators to leap across widening channels of frigid water in search of food. In Siberia, glaciers recede year after year, exposing bare rock and ancient soil. The permafrost, once locked in a deep freeze, now thaws and collapses, releasing clouds of methane and carbon that have lain dormant for millennia, transforming the very foundation of the land. Human influence, though often distant, leaves unmistakable marks. In the forests, swathes of trees are felled, leaving behind raw scars that contrast sharply with untouched stands of ancient spruce and pine. Along winding rivers, the water's surface reflects not only the silhouettes of moose and otters, but also the subtle disturbances of silt and debris, evidence of upstream extraction and pollution. Even here, in the heart of the wild, the reach of industry fragments habitats and disrupts the ancient migration routes of countless species. As the untouched wilderness contracts, animals are pressed into ever smaller territories. Elk and reindeer graze side by side, forced into uneasy proximity, while predators compete for dwindling resources. Wildfires, once rare and seasonal, now rage with unprecedented intensity, their flames consuming vast tracts of forest and leaving behind charred earth and drifting ash. The aftermath lingers for years, reshaping the landscape and challenging the resilience of every creature that calls it home. Yet hope endures in the vast stretches that remain untouched. Here, herds of caribou sweep across the tundra in great migrations, while brown bears fish in crystalline rivers and flocks of migratory birds fill the sky in seasonal waves. These living landscapes are natural laboratories, where scientists track the movements of wolves with satellite collars, monitor the health of salmon runs, and study the resilience of forests recovering from fire and frost. The boreal forests, shrouded in morning mist, stretch for thousands of miles, acting as the planet's lungs, absorbing vast quantities of carbon dioxide and releasing life-giving oxygen. Above the tundra, swirling polar vortex clouds shape weather patterns that ripple across continents. The preservation of these ecosystems is not only vital for the creatures that inhabit them, but for the stability of the global climate itself. Across the north, conservation efforts are taking root. Protected areas expand, creating safe havens for wildlife. Reforestation projects nurture young saplings, their green shoots pushing through the soil where old forests once stood. International agreements seek to limit emissions and safeguard critical habitats, while scientists and conservationists work tirelessly to restore balance. Each new tree, each preserved valley is a testament to resilience and renewal. The future of the wild north rests on the survival of its iconic predators. The powerful bear, the elusive wolf, and the rare Siberian tiger move through their snowy domains, their presence a sign of ecosystem health. Their continued existence depends on our resolve to protect these lands, ensuring that the delicate balance of predator and prey endures. As the sun rises over untouched valleys and forests alive with the movement of wildlife, we are reminded of what is at stake. By safeguarding the wild north, we preserve not only breathtaking landscapes, but the promise of endurance and renewal for the land, its creatures, and the generations yet to come. In the heart of the Arctic and Siberian wilds, every life form is intricately woven into a fragile tapestry of interdependence, where the fate of one species is inextricably linked to the survival of countless others. From the sweeping tundra to the dense snow-laden forests, the landscape itself is a living network shaped by the constant interplay of its inhabitants. Beneath the heavy crystalline branches and across the endless white expanse, survival is a communal endeavour. Each animal's journey leaves a trail, tracks pressed into the snow, silent evidence of migration and pursuit. Herds of caribou and reindeer traverse the plains, their movements orchestrated by the search for food and safety, while predators shadow them, ever alert to opportunity. The cycle of life here begins at the smallest scale. Hardy lichens and mosses, clinging to frostbitten rocks and frozen soil, are among the first to awaken beneath the snow's insulating blanket. Tiny Arctic insects, nearly invisible to the eye, emerge to feed and pollinate, setting the foundation for the entire ecosystem. These resilient plants provide the only nourishment for reindeer and caribou during the relentless winter months. With their muzzles buried deep in the snow, these herbivores scrape away the icy crust to reach the life-sustaining lichen and moss, fueling their long migrations across the tundra. In turn, these great herds sustain formidable predators. Wolf packs, moving with silent coordination, track the reindeer's every step, while the elusive Siberian tiger stalks through the shadowed forest, its presence felt but rarely seen. The rhythm of predator and prey is dictated by the pulse of migration, each movement a response to the shifting fortunes of the land. As the grip of winter loosens, rivers awaken, their icy surfaces breaking apart to reveal rushing water beneath. These arteries of the North pulse with seasonal abundance, drawing life from every corner of the wilderness. When the salmon return to their ancestral spawning grounds, the rivers become a stage for dramatic encounters. Brown bears, powerful and patient, stand poised at the water's edge, while bald eagles wheel overhead, their sharp eyes fixed on the silvery flashes below. The annual Salmon Run is a feast that sustains not only these predators, but the next generation as well. The remains of these fish, carried deep into the forest by hungry bears and scavenging eagles, become nourishment for the land itself. As bones and flesh decompose, they enrich the soil, feeding the roots of ancient trees and sparking new growth, a silent, vital exchange that links river to forest in an endless cycle. Insects, though often overlooked, are indispensable. Beetles and other decomposers break down fallen leaves and animal remains, recycling nutrients back into the earth. Pollinators flit from wildflower to wildflower, ensuring the next season's bloom and supporting the food chain from the ground up. The Arctic fox, ever resourceful, scavenges the leftovers of larger predators and hunts small rodents beneath the snow. By controlling rodent populations, the fox indirectly shapes the growth of grasses and shrubs, influencing the very structure of the tundra's plant life. Every track in the snow, every fleeting shadow is a thread in this vast web of life. The connections between species, predator and prey, scavenger and decomposer, form a network as complex as it is essential. When even one species falters, the balance is disrupted. The absence of a single link sends ripples through the ecosystem, affecting creatures both mighty and minute, and altering the landscape itself. The intricate food webs of the North reveal a profound truth. Survival in these extreme lands is never solitary. It is a testament to cooperation and connection, forged in the crucible of the wild, where every life depends on the resilience and harmony of the whole. Beneath the towering pines, where snow blankets the forest floor in a seamless white shroud, a world of subtle dramas unfolds. Here, in the shadow of ancient trees and across endless stretches of frozen wilderness, the smallest inhabitants of the North quietly shape the fate of these wild lands. Each winter, the tiniest and most elusive creatures, barely noticed by the casual observer, embark on journeys as epic as any great migration. Driven by the relentless pulse of the seasons, they traverse snowfields and tundra, their delicate tracks weaving intricate patterns across the frozen ground. As the first rays of spring sunlight pierce the icy crust, the Arctic ground squirrel stirs beneath the earth. After months sealed in darkness, it pushes through the snow, its fur dusted with frost, eyes blinking against the sudden brightness. During hibernation, its body temperature plummets to near freezing, and its heartbeat slows to just a few beats per minute. In this suspended state, the squirrel endures the long, bitter winter, surviving on reserves built up during the brief summer. With the thaw, these resilient rodents emerge, wasting no time. They forage frantically among the melting drifts, devouring seeds, roots and shoots to rebuild their strength before the next cold descends. Every moment is precious in this race against time. High above, the Lapland longspur and snow bunting ride the turbulent winds. These tiny songbirds, weighing less than a handful of snow, cross thousands of miles of hostile terrain. They battle fierce gusts and freezing rain, wings beating tirelessly as they navigate the vast open tundra. As dusk falls, flocks soar beneath a tapestry of stars. Guided by celestial patterns and the Earth's magnetic field, they travel through the night, their calls echoing faintly in the cold air. Each bird is attuned to subtle environmental cues, adjusting its course with remarkable precision. When they finally arrive, their melodic songs fill the silent tundra, signaling the return of life. Their nests, hidden among low shrubs, become vital sources of nourishment for predators like the Arctic fox and stoat, weaving these birds into the intricate web of survival. In the thawing wetlands, the Siberian salamander awakens. This amphibian, no larger than a child's finger, crawls slowly through moss and shallow pools, its skin glistening with meltwater. It is a master of endurance, surviving conditions that would freeze most life solid. During the harshest months, the salamander's body freezes almost completely. Special proteins shield its cells from ice damage, allowing it to endure temperatures far below zero. When warmth returns, it thaws and resumes its slow journey to breeding pools. As the ice recedes, salamanders gather in shallow, sunlit pools. Here they breed and lay eggs, ensuring the next generation will continue this ancient cycle of survival in the far north. Beneath the ice, hidden from the world above, schools of Arctic char and grayling glide through frigid waters. They navigate twisting channels and evade lurking predators, their silvery bodies flashing in the dim light beneath the frozen surface. Timing is everything. As meltwaters swell, these fish surge upstream, using the brief window of high water to reach ancient spawning grounds. Their journey is perilous, but essential for the survival of their species. From the forest floor to the open tundra, from icy rivers to thawing wetlands, these lesser-known travellers are the unsung architects of the North. Their movements shape the ecosystem, influencing everything from soil health to predator populations. Through ingenious adaptations and quiet resilience, they endure blizzards, starvation, and predators. Their migrations and life cycles are finely tuned to the rhythm of the seasons, ensuring that life persists even in the harshest corners of Alaska and Siberia. In the grand cycle of the wild, every journey, no matter how small, matters. Each traveller, from the tiniest bird to the smallest salamander, plays a vital role in the enduring story of survival that defines the far north. Across the farthest reaches of Alaska and Siberia, a vast, silent wilderness stretches beneath a pale winter sun. Here, the ancient rhythms of ice and snow, once as predictable as the turning of the earth, are shifting in ways both subtle and profound. The seasons, once marked by reliable cycles of deep freeze and gradual thaw, now arrive out of step. Spring's melt comes weeks ahead of schedule, or winter lingers, reluctant to release its grip. The Arctic, warming at more than twice the global average, is a region transformed by accelerating change. For the animals that call this place home, these changes are not just inconvenient, they are life-altering. An Arctic wolf stands alert, its senses tuned to a world where the rules are being rewritten. Beneath the surface, the permafrost, ground frozen solid for thousands of years, begins to thaw. The once immovable foundation of forests and tundra softens, destabilizing entire ecosystems from the roots up. Where there was once solid earth, pools of meltwater now spread across the tundra, carving new wetlands and releasing ancient stores of carbon into the atmosphere. The land itself is reshaped, its contours blurred by water and warmth. Lichens and mosses, the quiet architects of the Arctic floor and the foundation of the reindeer's winter diet, struggle beneath layers of ice. Warmer, wetter winters bring repeated freeze-thaw cycles, encasing these vital plants in impenetrable crusts and forcing reindeer to paw desperately at the frozen ground. In the shadowed forests, brown bears stir from hibernation weeks before their ancestors would have dared. Awakened by mild winters and erratic snowfall, they emerge into a world where the familiar cues of spring have become unreliable. Their search for food grows more urgent. Berry crops, once abundant, now fail or shift northward, leaving bears to wander through sparse forests. The delicate balance between predator and prey, bear and moose, wolf and caribou, begins to unravel as resources dwindle and habitats change. Rivers, once fed by the slow, steady melt of winter snow, now surge with sudden floods or shrink to cracked, parched beds in unexpected droughts. The pulse of water that sustains life here becomes unpredictable, reshaping the fate of every creature that depends on it. Salmon, the lifeblood of northern rivers, battle upstream through turbulent waters. Their ancient runs become erratic, threatening not only their own survival, but the intricate web of life that relies on them. From soaring eagles to prowling wolves, and even the smallest scavengers along the banks. The Arctic fox, once perfectly camouflaged in a world of endless white, now finds its snowy coat a liability. As snow cover shrinks and the landscape turns patchy, the fox stands exposed, vulnerable to predators in a world that no longer matches its disguise. From the south, the red fox advances, drawn by milder winters and expanding territory. In silent confrontations, these two species compete for the same scarce resources, the balance of power shifting with the climate. High above, satellites capture the retreat of sea ice and the slow march of the tree line northward. These sweeping changes, invisible to the naked eye, are meticulously tracked by scientists determined to understand the pace and scale of transformation. On the ground, researchers observe herds of caribou as they migrate across the tundra, their journeys increasingly out of sync with the emergence of new plant growth. Stressed plants and animals reveal the strain of adaptation, their resilience tested by a world in flux. The evidence is stark. Cracked ice and encroaching forests at dusk signal an ecosystem at the brink, where the old certainties of extreme cold are giving way to a new, uncertain reality. Yet, even as the environment transforms, life persists. The Arctic hare, nimble and alert, navigates a landscape in transition, adapting its habits and movements to survive. Animated maps reveal the shifting ranges of countless species. Some move northward, others alter their breeding or hunting behaviors, and a few, adaptable and resilient, may even find new opportunities in the changing north. But for many, the relentless pace of change brings hardship. Polar bears and wolves struggle across melting ice, while reindeer, exhausted, trudge through muddy, thawed tundra in search of food. Sweeping pans reveal a landscape in flux, tundra thawing, glaciers retreating, and the intricate tapestry of the northern ecosystem unravelling before our eyes. As the sun rises over wild, untouched forests and rivers, the future of these places and the countless lives woven into their fabric hangs in the balance. The choices made far beyond these silent lands will determine whether the story of the North is one of loss or of resilience and renewal. Beneath a thick, insulating blanket of snow, the northern wilds conceal a world of extraordinary plant life. Here, in the silence and stillness, mosses and lichens cling to the frozen earth, their emerald and silver forms pressed close to the ground, shielded from the biting wind by layers of crystalline snow. As the relentless winter loosens its grip, the tundra transforms almost overnight. In a fleeting burst of life, wildflowers unfurl delicate petals in a riot of colour, while mosses and lichens spread across the landscape, painting the ground with vivid greens, yellows and reds. Each bloom is a testament to the urgency of the short Arctic summer. Every plant here is a marvel of adaptation. Their leaves are often small and leathery, coated in wax or tiny hairs to trap warmth and reduce water loss. Frost clings to their surfaces in the early morning, but as sunlight returns, these hardy survivors harness every available ray, maximizing photosynthesis in the brief window of abundance. Dwarf willows and birches, some no taller than a human hand, sprawl across the tundra. Their branches creep along the ground, minimizing exposure to icy gusts and capturing the warmth radiating from the soil. This low profile is a crucial defense against the relentless cold and abrasive winds. Their roots, shallow but tenacious, penetrate only the thin layer of thawed soil above the permafrost. Here they extract precious nutrients and moisture, surviving on what little the earth can offer before the ground freezes solid once more. In the boreal forests, conifers such as spruce and larch rise above the snow. Their slender, flexible trunks sway with the wind, while their needle-like leaves are engineered to shed snow efficiently, preventing heavy accumulation that could snap branches. The waxy coating on their needles guards against desiccation and freezing. Together, these resilient plants form the backbone of the northern ecosystem, anchoring the soil and providing the first link in a fragile food chain. Lichens, slow-growing and incredibly tough, blanket rocks and soil. Even in the depths of winter, they remain accessible beneath the snow, offering a vital food source for reindeer and caribou when all else is buried or dormant. Berry bushes, adapted to flower and fruit with astonishing speed, produce clusters of nutrient-rich berries. These fruits are quickly consumed by birds and mammals, providing a crucial energy boost during the brief summer before the cold returns. Ingenious survival strategies abound. Some plants produce antifreeze proteins within their cells, preventing ice crystals from forming and damaging tissues. Others accelerate their entire life cycle, sprouting, flowering and seeding in a matter of weeks. Many can photosynthesize under extremely low light, making the most of every available moment. The roots of these plants bind the soil, preventing erosion in a landscape shaped by wind and meltwater. Their leaves and needles provide shelter for countless insects, while their seeds and fruits sustain a diverse array of wildlife, from the smallest rodents to the largest birds. Yet, as the climate warms, these plants face unprecedented challenges. Shifting weather patterns bring unpredictable freezes and thaws, stressing even the hardiest species. Some species are now migrating northward, following the retreating snowline in search of colder ground, their seeds carried by wind and water to new frontiers. Others struggle to survive, threatened by encroaching warmth and the arrival of non-native competitors that outpace them in the changing environment. Still, the adaptability of these plants offers hope. Each new sprout and blossom supports the intricate web of life, nourishing animals and stabilizing the ecosystem as the seasons turn. In this delicate balance, the quiet resilience of northern plants reverberates through every corner of the wilderness. Even in the harshest cold, life persists, sustaining the intricate web of creatures that call the far north home, and reminding us of nature's enduring ingenuity. Across the endless sweep of the Arctic and Siberian wilderness, what seems like silence is, in truth, a living tapestry of sound and movement, woven by the land itself. Here, nature orchestrates a symphony unique to the far north, where every element, wind, water, ice and animal, contributes to a chorus that defines this remote world. Listen as the haunting call of a loon pierces the crisp air, its echo rippling across the glassy surface of a frozen lake, breath visible in the frigid dawn. The fox, alert and agile, pads silently through powdery snow, each step producing a rhythmic crunch, a subtle percussion in the winter stillness. Over the open tundra, the wind threads its way through tall, frost-tipped grasses, setting them swaying in a gentle, ceaseless dance, whispering secrets of the cold. As winter deepens, the landscape transforms. Ice crystals catch the pale sun, and the air itself seems to shimmer with a crystalline clarity, every sound sharpened by the cold. Beneath the surface, rivers and lakes groan and crack, the ice shifting and fracturing with deep, resonant booms that echo for miles, reminders of the power locked within the frozen earth. At night, these sounds drift beneath the sky, washed in moonlight, hollow echoes rolling across the snowfields, amplifying the sense of vastness and solitude. In the dense boreal forests, snow slips from heavy branches in soft, muffled bursts, while the sharp, rhythmic drumming of a woodpecker reverberates through the still air. The woodpecker's beak chips away at frozen bark, searching for hidden insects, each strike a testament to persistence and adaptation in this harsh environment. Yet the wonders of the north are not confined to the ground. They unfold spectacularly in the skies above, where the atmosphere itself becomes a canvas for natural marvels. As darkness falls, the aurora borealis ignites. Curtains of green and violet undulate across the heavens, their light shimmering over the snow-blanketed earth. In time-lapse, these celestial ribbons sweep and swirl, painting the night with ethereal colour, their movement mirrored in the silent landscape below. The aurora's glow reflects on untouched snowfields and icy lakes, casting a surreal, otherworldly light that transforms the wilderness into a realm of living colour. Snowdrifts glow softly beneath the aurora, the landscape bathed in waves of shifting, iridescent light, silent yet profoundly alive. Occasionally the air fills with diamond dust, minute ice crystals suspended in the atmosphere, sparkling like countless stars in the slanting sunlight. Each crystal catches the light, creating a dazzling spectacle, an ephemeral shimmer that drifts and dances with the slightest breeze. When the sun is low, halos and pillars of light rise from the snowy ground, optical illusions born from ice and sunlight, giving the horizon a mystical, glowing aura. Far off, the horizon shimmers with mirages, heatless, wavering images that distort the snowfields, hinting at phantom lakes and distant, unreachable lands. These optical illusions bend the light, sculpting ghostly landscapes that vanish as quickly as they appear, a fleeting trick of the Arctic sun. Throughout this realm, wildlife moves with purpose. Wolves, lynx and foxes navigating the snow, each step and call a vital note in the Arctic's living score. Predators, alert and adaptive, scan their surroundings, every movement a testament to survival and the relentless drive of life in the cold. The Arctic Symphony is a reminder that even in the most isolated, inhospitable corners of our planet, beauty and vitality endure, woven into every sound, every sight. Nature's voice here is vibrant and unmistakable, expressed in the calls, movements, and silent resilience of its wild inhabitants. For those who pause to listen and observe, the Arctic offers a chorus of wonder, a living masterpiece painted in sound, light, and the enduring spirit of the North. In the far reaches of Alaska and Siberia, the passage of time is written in the land itself. As the seasons shift, the wilderness transforms. Snowfields melt into rivers, forests awaken beneath the returning sun, and the air grows thick with the promise of change. The ancient contest between predator and prey is renewed with every transformation. Wolves, lean and hungry, move like shadows across the frozen taiga, their eyes fixed on the distant silhouettes of caribou threading through the tundra. In the heart of winter, the landscape is a world of silence and stark beauty. The forests stand motionless, their branches heavy with snow, while the ground below is locked in a deep, unyielding freeze. Deep snow blankets the earth, creating both a formidable barrier and a stage for survival. Every movement is slowed, every step a calculated risk. Wolves travel in disciplined formation, their bodies aligned, each member attuned to the rhythm of the pack. Their broad paws splay across the crusted snow, distributing their weight so they can glide over the surface with minimal effort, conserving precious energy. In contrast, caribou and solitary hares labour through the drifts, their legs sinking deep, each bound or stride a struggle against the relentless cold. Every step is a contest of endurance, muscles straining, breath steaming in the frigid air, exhaustion etched into every movement. Survival here is a matter of adaptation. Foxes and lynx scan the landscape with unblinking focus, every sense sharpened by necessity. Prey species grow dense, insulating coats, caribou cloaked in thick fur, Arctic hares nearly invisible against the snow, their pelts a perfect camouflage. Blending seamlessly into the pale expanse, they become ghosts in the winter wilderness, relying on concealment as much as speed. Predators, in turn, refine their tactics. Wolves and lynx move with calculated silence, using the muffled world to their advantage. Cooperation is key. Wolves communicate with subtle glances and body language, encircling their quarry with practiced precision. As the sun climbs higher and the snow begins to melt, the landscape is transformed once again. Rivers swell with meltwater, and the brown tundra emerges from beneath its icy shroud. The balance of power shifts subtly. Caribou herds move into the first flush of green, while foxes prowl the thawing meadows, alert for any sign of movement. Prey animals, once exposed on the open snow, now find sanctuary in the thickening undergrowth. Calves and hares crouch low, hidden by the burgeoning vegetation. Spring brings new life. Moose and caribou calves take their first unsteady steps in the shelter of tall grass, while fox kits emerge from their dens, blinking in the bright light. For predators, opportunity and challenge arrive together. Bears, gaunt from months of hibernation, lumber from their dens, driven by hunger. They scour the land for vulnerable young and follow the scent of salmon as the rivers come alive. The first salmon surge upstream, leaping against the current, and bears seize their chance, snatching fish from the churning water with practiced skill. Foxes and raptors exploit the abundance of small mammals. Voles and lemmings dart through the grass, only to be caught in a sudden pounce or a swift dive from above. The meadows pulse with life and danger, every movement a potential meal or a narrow escape. Yet the contest is never straightforward. In the tangled brush, lynx and hare lock eyes, each calculating the next move in a silent standoff. As the ground softens, prey animals grow more agile. Calves and hares bound across the earth, their movements quick and unpredictable. Months of vigilance have honed their senses. Ears twitch at the faintest sound. Eyes scan for the slightest hint of danger. The endless daylight of summer brings new challenges for hunters. With little darkness to conceal their approach, wolves and bears must rely on patience, tracking their quarry for hours beneath the unsetting sun. Stealth gives way to endurance. Predators wait motionless in the grass or stalk slowly through dense undergrowth, every muscle tensed for the perfect moment to strike. Each encounter is a test of strategy and speed. Wolf and caribou locked in a tense standoff, Arctic foxes racing after hares in a blur of motion. The cycle of the seasons shapes every interaction, dictating the rules of engagement in this ever-changing arena. From the lean scarcity of winter to the lush abundance of summer, the fortunes of predator and prey rise and fall with the turning year. The chase continues. Wolves pursue caribou across sunlit meadows, lynx and hares dart and weave through the open tundra, each moment a contest of life and death. The evidence of their struggle is left behind. Tracks pressed into fresh snow, prints scattered across the summer grass, silent witnesses to the drama unfolding. In the hush of a snowy clearing, a wolf pack stands poised, eyes locked on their quarry, the tension palpable in the frozen air. In an instant, the spell breaks. A herd bolts, hares scatter, and the chase is on once more. This dynamic tension, predator and prey, sharing the same vast, unforgiving terrain, is the very heartbeat of the North. It is a story told in chases and escapes, in near misses and narrow victories, repeated endlessly across the wild expanse. Through every shifting season, beneath the swirling auroras and the endless sky, the struggle for survival continues, an eternal cycle of risk, resilience, and renewal in the wild North. Across the vast, untamed expanses of Alaska and Siberia, water is the master sculptor, carving deep valleys, shaping endless plains, and dictating the very rhythm of life for every wild creature that roams these lands. Rivers snake through dense boreal forests, weaving a living tapestry that connects isolated pockets of wilderness, nourishing the towering spruce and birch that form the backbone of these northern realms. With the arrival of spring, the thaw unleashes torrents of meltwater, transforming tranquil streams into surging rivers. These powerful currents sweep away fallen trees and debris, carrying a rich cargo of nutrients downstream, fueling the rebirth of the ecosystem after the long, frozen winter. For countless wild animals, these waterways are the arteries of survival, drawing moose, bears and wolves to their banks, each species relying on the river's bounty in its own way. Moose, with their long, splayed legs perfectly adapted for the soft, mucky riverbeds, wade into the shallows to graze on submerged vegetation, feeding on water lilies and pondweed that flourish in the nutrient-rich mud. Otters, agile and sleek, slip effortlessly through crystal-clear pools, their bodies streamlined for hunting. They dart beneath the surface, weaving through the shifting currents in pursuit of fish, their sharp eyes and quick reflexes making them formidable predators in these cold waters. Scattered across the tundra, pristine lakes shimmer like mirrors, reflecting the endless sky. In the fleeting warmth of summer, these tranquil waters become sanctuaries, offering refuge and abundance in a landscape otherwise defined by extremes. Migratory birds, swans, geese and ducks, arrive in vast swirling flocks, their wings beating in unison as they settle on reedy shores. Here they build nests, raise their chicks, and take advantage of the safety and nourishment offered by the open water. Beneath the surface, pike and trout glide silently through the cool depths, their presence vital to the food web. Overhead, eagles swoop with precision, while bears patrol the banks, each predator drawn by the promise of a meal in these teeming waters. As the seasons shift, the landscape transforms once more. Rivers slow and freeze, their surfaces locking beneath a thickening sheet of ice, while snow blankets the world in silence. The frozen rivers become highways for wolves and Arctic foxes, allowing them to traverse vast distances in search of prey. For migrating herds of caribou and reindeer, these icy barriers can halt progress, forcing them to wait or find new routes across the frozen expanse. Yet beneath the ice, life persists in secret. Fish move slowly through the frigid water, their metabolism slowed to conserve precious energy, while the underwater world remains a hidden sanctuary. Beavers and muskrats retreat to lodges crafted with meticulous care, structures insulated by snow and ice, providing warmth and safety through the harshest months. Inside, they wait out the winter, venturing out only when necessary. The constant interplay of water and ice shapes every survival story here. Rivers partially freeze, creating treacherous crossings and new opportunities for the animals that must navigate this ever-changing environment. Salmon, driven by instinct, battle upstream against icy currents and leap frozen waterfalls. Their epic journey sustains not only hungry bears, but also enriches the very forests that line the streams, as nutrients from their bodies feed the soil. Even the mighty reindeer depend on these frozen lakes, crossing vast windswept expanses of ice in search of fresh grazing grounds, each migration a test of endurance and instinct. Here, water is not merely a backdrop, but the architect of the wild, dictating where animals travel, where they feed, and where new generations are born. Every movement, every interaction is shaped by the presence of rivers and lakes. From the thunderous roar of spring melt and dramatic ice break-ups to the profound silence of a frozen lake in midwinter, these waterways are the ever-changing arteries of life, pulsing with energy, then falling still, only to surge again with the turning of the seasons. Every ripple, every frozen sheet leaves an indelible mark on the creatures of the north, shaping their lives, their struggles, and their triumphs in this wild, frozen world. As the first light of dawn stretches across the endless Alaskan tundra, and the ethereal glow of the northern lights dances above the Siberian taiga, the northern wilds awaken in silence. Here the future is not announced with fanfare, but revealed in the subtle interplay of nature and innovation. Each discovery, each technological leap, quietly shaping what is to come. Across these immense landscapes, scientists work tirelessly, often unseen, studying the land from the highest peaks to the forest floor. Their presence is felt not in footprints, but in the data they gather, the patterns they reveal, and the silent guardianship they provide to these remote ecosystems. From space, satellites sweep over the vast boreal forests and frozen rivers, capturing the slow but relentless transformation of the land. They record the thawing of ancient permafrost, the shifting routes of migrating caribou, and the dramatic breakup of river ice as spring breathes new life into the wilderness. On the ground, motion sensor cameras and remote listening devices capture the secret lives of elusive animals, A lynx glides silently through the twilight shadows, its fur blending with the snow-dusted undergrowth. A wolverine, powerful and solitary, navigates the tangled brush in search of prey. Across a frozen lake, the delicate tracks of reindeer mark a quiet passage, their movements echoing the ancient rhythms of survival. High above, drones glide over dense Siberian forests and ancient Alaskan spruce, their sensors mapping the scars of wildfire and the subtle shifts in forest health. Plumes of smoke drift through the canopy, while the untouched green below hints at resilience and renewal. Beneath the surface of crystal-clear rivers, salmon surge upstream, each bearing a tiny electronic tag. These devices trace their epic migrations, leaping rapids, navigating icy currents, and revealing the hidden challenges these fish face as they journey thousands of miles to spawn. Advanced tracking devices, once the stuff of science fiction, now adorn wild animals and illuminate the forest with streams of digital data. Glowing overlays reveal movement patterns, territory boundaries, and the intricate connections that bind predator and prey. On digital maps, layers of information converge: wildlife migrations, vegetation changes, and ecosystem health, each byte of data a vital thread in the tapestry of the North's living web. These insights guide conservation efforts, designing wildlife corridors that bridge fragmented habitats, restoring wetlands where flocks of birds gather, and modelling how a warming climate may reshape the tundra's fragile balance. Artificial intelligence now scans millions of images from remote cameras, instantly identifying rare species and flagging signs of poaching or habitat loss. This digital vigilance allows for rapid response, protecting vulnerable populations before threats escalate. The hope for these wild lands lies not only in knowledge, but in decisive action. Wolf packs move confidently through snowy forests, and herds of bison roam freely across protected plains, living proof of what dedicated stewardship can achieve. Protected reserves expand, opening new territory for caribou herds to migrate and for rivers to carve their ancient paths, undisturbed by human interference. International collaboration forges connections across continents, linking Alaskan and Siberian habitats. The destinies of caribou, Amur tigers, wild salmon and swans are intertwined, their survival a shared responsibility that transcends borders. Under the shimmering aurora, the northern wilderness endures, resilient, dynamic, and alive with thriving animal populations. Its future is safeguarded by the quiet persistence of science and the unwavering promise of preservation. As ancient carvings fade into the living herds that roam today, technology and tradition merge. The story of the North is no longer just a relic of the past, but a living, breathing wilderness, its future shaped by curiosity, care, and enduring hope. Across the northern wilds, the legacy of today's choices reverberates through the land, carried on the wind and written in the silent language of nature. As the snow settles softly on ancient spruce and the icy rivers reflect the pale light of a setting sun, the future of these vast landscapes is quietly taking root. Beneath the frozen surface, seeds of Arctic willow and dwarf birch lie dormant, waiting for the subtle shift of seasons. Their resilience is a testament to millennia of adaptation, and a silent promise that life will persist, even as the world changes around them. In the shadowed valleys, mosses and lichen form intricate tapestries across stone and permafrost, their slow, persistent growth knitting together the fabric of the tundra. Each patch is a living archive, preserving the memory of centuries past and nurturing the soil for generations yet to come. In the quiet hours of dusk, a snowy owl glides over an open plain, its wings barely stirring the air. Below, a family of Arctic foxes emerges from their burrow, cubs tumbling in the pale twilight. Their playful energy brings life to the stillness, each paw print a fleeting mark that will soon be covered by fresh snow. These moments, ephemeral yet enduring, are the heartbeat of the north. Far above, the aurora flickers, a silent dialogue between earth and sky. The shimmering lights cast shifting patterns across the land, echoing the invisible connections that link every living thing. Rivers, once frozen, now pulse with the lifeblood of spring, sustaining herds of musk oxen and wild geese as they follow ancient migration routes. Each journey weaves new threads into the ever-evolving story of the wild. Even as technology and science carve new paths of understanding, the land itself remains the ultimate guardian and storyteller. Wind-carved ridges, ice-sculpted valleys, and the timeless rhythm of the seasons bear witness to all that has come before, and all that may yet be. In this place, hope is not a distant dream, but a living presence, rooted in the earth, carried by the rivers, and reflected in the eyes of every creature that calls the north home. The legacy of the northern wilderness is not measured in years or accolades, but in the quiet persistence of life, and the promise that, with care and respect, these wild lands will continue to echo with the songs of the future. As night gives way to the faint blush of Arctic dawn, the northern wilds awaken to a world painted in soft hues of blue and gold. Frost crystals sparkle on the tundra, each one a fleeting masterpiece, refracting the newborn light. The land holds its breath in this quiet hour, poised between the memory of winter and the promise of renewal. From a stand of snow-bowed pines, a lone lynx emerges, its tufted ears attuned to the distant rustle of ptarmigan wings. The lynx moves with silent purpose, threading through a forest sculpted by frost and time. In the hush, every movement is magnified, the gentle fall of snow from a branch, the whisper of wind across open plains. Above, the first calls of migratory birds ripple through the cold air, sandhill cranes and snow buntings returning from distant lands. Their voices weave a tapestry of hope, signalling the beginning of another cycle. On the banks of a thawing river, a beaver gnaws at a willow branch, busily rebuilding its dam after months of ice and silence. The steady rhythm of its work is echoed by the drip of melting snow, water trickling down to join the rushing current. In the shadow of a glacier, herds of musk oxen graze on newly exposed mosses, their breath rising in clouds as they feed, undisturbed by the watchful gaze of a golden eagle circling high above. Each life, small or great, plays its part in the intricate choreography of survival and renewal. As the light grows stronger, the land reveals its hidden stories. A red fox tracking the scent of lemmings beneath the snow, Arctic hares bounding in pairs across windswept ridges, and the delicate bloom of mountain avens unfurling to greet the sun. These moments, stitched together by time and the turning seasons, form the living heartbeat of the North. The dawn is more than a daily beginning. It is a testament to endurance and transformation. Here, life does not simply endure the cold, it thrives within it, adapting and flourishing in ways both subtle and extraordinary. And as the sun climbs higher, illuminating ice fields and valleys alike, it casts a promise across the land, that every new day in the north is a chance for life to continue its timeless dance, resilient and unbroken beneath the endless sky. As the Arctic sun climbs ever higher, Its rays stretch across the vast expanse, igniting a slow transformation that sweeps from tundra to taiga. The snow's icy grip loosens, revealing a patchwork of green and brown, new shoots piercing the earth mosses, unfurling in hidden hollows, and lichen painting ancient stones with bursts of colour. Beneath the surface of a crystal-clear pond, schools of Arctic char dart between ribbons of sunlight. Each flick of their tails stirs the silty bottom, awakening dormant insects and stirring life back into the water. Water boatmen skate across the mirror-calm surface, while dragonfly nymphs ascend reed stalks, their delicate wings unfurling for the first time in months. Nearby, a wolverine emerges from a den carved into the hillside. It pauses, nose twitching, alert to every scent carried on the warming breeze. Its journey will span miles, traversing ridges and valleys in search of carrion and opportunity. A solitary wanderer, yet vital to the health of the land. High in the canopy, a pair of boreal owls exchange low, rhythmic calls. The male brings a vole to the nest, where downy chicks huddle in the twilight of the hollow. Each meal is a gift, a promise that the next generation will soon take flight into the endless northern sky. On the open steppe, herds of wild reindeer move in graceful unison, hooves drumming a steady cadence into the softening earth. Calves, just days old, stumble in the shelter of their mothers, learning the patterns of migration that will define their lives. The great journey begins anew, driven by instinct and the turning of the world. Above all, clouds drift in slow procession, casting shifting shadows that dance across the land. The air shimmers with possibility, alive with the calls of breeding birds, the rustle of awakening plants, and the distant splash of a leaping salmon. As the day unfolds, the north reveals its enduring truth. Life here is a circle ever renewing, woven from countless threads of adaptation and tenacity. In the endless light, every creature finds its place, each heartbeat echoing the timeless rhythm of survival, connection, and hope. The cycle continues, unbroken beneath the boundless Arctic sky. As the sun hovers just above the horizon, refusing to set, the Arctic world is bathed in a golden glow that lingers through the midnight hours. In this perpetual twilight, the wilderness reveals its most elusive wonders, quiet moments that unfold beyond the sight of most. Along a secluded riverbank, a beaver slips silently into the glassy water. Its paddle-shaped tail leaves ripples that shimmer in the endless dusk. Underwater, it ferries a willow branch to the dam, weaving new strength into its fortress. Each careful movement shapes the waterways, creating pools that shelter minnows and frogs, ecosystems born from the unseen labour of these nocturnal engineers. In the shelter of a mossy boulder, a snowshoe hare sits motionless, its white fur aglow in the soft light. The world is hushed, save for the gentle hum of mosquitoes and the distant song of a hermit thrush. With a sudden burst, the hare darts into the undergrowth, vanishing as swiftly as it appeared, its survival owed to patience and the camouflage of the lingering snow. Above the tundra, a cloud of mayflies rises, their fragile bodies catching the light like flecks of silver. For a brief night they dance in swarms, a living storm that draws hungry Arctic terns from above and sleek grayling from below. This fleeting spectacle is a feast, nourishing countless lives in a single ephemeral bloom. On the edge of a melting ice floe, a ringed seal hauls out, its dark eyes reflecting the eternal day. It rests vigilant, while in the distance narwhals breach and roll, their long tusks tracing arcs against the glowing sky. Deep beneath the waves, Beluga whales pass in silent procession, their calls echoing through the cold, dark water, a language as ancient as the ice itself. Even in the quietest corners, life pulses with purpose. Lemmings tunnel through the thawing earth, carving networks that aerate the soil and scatter seeds. Mosses and liverworts creep across bare rock, their slow advance laying the foundation for forests yet to come. In these hushed hours, the North's smallest inhabitants shape the land as surely as the great herds and mighty predators. Their stories are written in whispers, in ripples, tracks and fleeting shadows, woven silently into the fabric of the midnight sun. As the world turns and the cycle endures, every creature, no matter how small, leaves an indelible mark on the tapestry of the Arctic wild. Beneath the shimmering surface of the Arctic, where moss and lichen cling to ancient stones, lies a world few ever see, a labyrinth of frost and life entwined within the permafrost. Here, in the cold, shadowed earth, the drama of survival unfolds in silence, hidden from the endless daylight above. Delicate roots thread through the icy soil, seeking pockets of warmth and nourishment. Dwarf birches and Arctic willows send their tendrils deep below the tundra, anchoring themselves against the shifting freeze and thaw. Within these narrow corridors, a hidden community thrives. Springtails and tiny nematodes, invisible to the naked eye, feast on decaying leaves and ancient peat, recycling nutrients essential for the brief explosion of summer growth. In the damp hollows, burrows twist and turn, a fortress for voles and Arctic ground squirrels. Through the long frozen months, these small mammals sleep in huddled nests, drawing warmth from each other and the earth itself. When the thaw begins, they stir, emerging to forage on fresh shoots and seeds, their movements aerating the soil, their droppings fertilizing the new green. But the permafrost holds more than life. Locked within its icy grip are secrets from millennia past, pollen grains, ancient spores, and the bones of long-extinct beasts. As the earth warms, these relics awaken, releasing nutrients and sometimes ancient viruses, echoing the cycles of life and death that have shaped the North since the last ice age. Above, the land may appear barren, but beneath, the permafrost pulses with a quiet energy, a hidden engine driving the resilience of the Arctic. As roots, burrows and microbes weave their stories in darkness, they support the world above, binding the past to the present and ensuring that, even in the coldest depths, life endures. In the veins of the permafrost, the Arctic's oldest mysteries lie dormant, waiting for the warmth of another sun, another season, another chance at life. As the Arctic night deepens, a new spectacle emerges, one that glows not in the warmth of the sun, but in the chill of darkness. In the frigid waters beneath the ice, hidden from the gaze of even the keenest predator, tiny organisms begin to shimmer. These are the Arctic's bioluminescent wonders, plankton, jellyfish and microscopic algae that pulse with cold blue and green light, illuminating the inky depths with silent fireworks. Above the water, the land remains cloaked in shadow, but below, the darkness is alive with movement. Schools of lanternfish drift through the blackness, their bodies dotted with glowing photophores. These soft living lanterns help them navigate and communicate in the endless night, and sometimes to confuse would-be hunters lurking nearby. Elsewhere, the subtle glow of bioluminescent bacteria clings to the shells of Arctic shrimp and the bellies of deep-sea creatures, casting ghostly halos as they move through the current. Each flash and flicker is a message, a warning, an invitation, or a lure for prey. Even in the coldest, most desolate corners of the north, life finds a way to shine. Above the ice, the aurora borealis weaves its own luminous tapestry across the sky, echoing the silent language of light below. The magnetic storms that paint the heavens with colour also stir the ocean's surface, creating patterns of movement and migration that tie sky to sea. In this realm, where the sun sleeps and the world is ruled by frost, light becomes more than a necessity. It is a form of survival, a way to find food, to attract a mate, to hide, or to be seen. From the smallest plankton to the largest whales, Arctic creatures have learned to read these signals, navigating the darkness by the glow of their own making. Here, in the lantern-lit silence beneath the ice, the Arctic reveals one of its most enchanting secrets, a world where life glimmers against the odds, and where even the faintest glow can mean the difference between life and death. In the endless night, the north is never truly dark. Its living lights dance on, a testament to resilience, wonder, and the enduring magic of the wild. Beneath the shimmering curtains of the aurora and the ghostly pulses of bioluminescence, the Arctic night conceals its most elusive predators. In the shallow waters, where the ice shelf meets the sea, shadows drift with practiced silence. Here the midnight hunt begins. A seal glides just below the surface, its sleek body a masterwork of stealth and adaptation. Every movement is calculated. Each flick of its flippers sends ripples through the water, barely disturbing the fragile crust of ice above. The seal's sensitive whiskers twitch, detecting the faintest vibrations from potential prey. A school of Arctic cod, clustered tightly for safety, their silvery scales catching the faintest glimmer from the plankton's glow. But the seal is not alone. Lurking in the darkness, a Greenland shark, ancient and slow-moving, patrols these icy shallows. Its eyes, adapted to the gloom, scan for the careless or the weak. This ghostly giant glides through the water, unseen and unhurried, a relic of prehistoric times. It is patience incarnate, waiting for opportunity rather than chasing it. On the seafloor, a spider crab inches forward, its spindly legs barely stirring the sediment. With every step, it scans for morsels left behind by the larger hunters, scraps of fish, fragments of shell. Even here, in the quietest corners of the Arctic, nothing is wasted. Every shadow, every movement is a story of survival. Above, a narwhal pod passes silently, their long ivory tusks slicing through the darkness. Their sonar clicks echo in the deep, searching for hidden prey beneath the ice. The narwhal's journey is a delicate dance with danger, as they must surface for air, risking the predatory gaze of a waiting polar bear or the sudden crack of shifting ice. These silent hunters, seal, shark, crab and narwhal, move through a world defined by contrast, brilliance and shadow, feast and famine, stillness and the sudden burst of pursuit. Each has carved a niche in this frozen realm, adapting to the rhythm of eternal night and fleeting light. In the Arctic shallows, the dance of predator and prey continues, unseen by all but the most patient observer. Here, in the interplay of darkness and faint glimmer, survival is written in shadows, a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of life at the edge of the world. As the Arctic night deepens, another kind of survival unfolds, one shaped not by the chase, but by creation. Across the tundra and beneath the ice, unseen engineers are hard at work, crafting shelters that defy the extremes of cold and darkness. In the powdery snowdrifts, the Arctic fox begins its nightly ritual. With practiced paws, it tunnels into the drift, carving a snug den protected from the biting wind and prowling predators. Each chamber is a sanctuary, a masterwork of insulation where warmth is trapped and life quietly endures through the long polar night. Beneath the frozen lakes, beavers orchestrate a different marvel. Underwater entrances lead to lodges constructed from branches, mud and reeds, woven tightly to withstand the shifting ice above. Within these domes, the beaver family huddles together, sustained by a secret pantry of branches stored in the cold water, nature's own refrigerator. Every stick and stone is placed with purpose, a testament to generations of instinct and ingenuity. Even in the intertidal zones, ingenuity prevails. Iceworms, almost invisible to the naked eye, tunnel through glacial ice, feeding on algae trapped within. Their tiny bodies create a network of channels, microscopic highways that help oxygen reach the depths of the frozen world. This hidden architecture supports entire microecosystems, sustaining life where none seems possible. In the snow-laden forests, the snowy owl claims its territory atop a windswept rise. It scrapes a shallow bowl into the snow, forming a nest from which it surveys the endless white. Its keen eyes scan for movement, and its downy feathers insulate against the cold. The nest, though simple, is a strategic outpost, high ground in a land where every advantage matters. From the smallest iceworm to the cunning fox and industrious beaver, the Arctic's builders shape their world in silence. Their shelters, tunnels and nests are more than homes. They are fortresses against the elements, blueprints for survival etched into snow and ice. In this land of fleeting light and enduring shadow, life thrives not just through strength or speed, but through the quiet genius of adaptation. Here, in the frozen wild, the architects of the Arctic remind us that survival is an art, and that every structure, no matter how small, is a triumph against the odds. Beneath the snow and frostbitten soil, a world of silent conversation unfolds, one rarely glimpsed, yet vital to the Arctic's survival. Here, the architect's blueprints extend beyond shelters, weaving invisible networks that connect life in unexpected ways. Mycelium, the thread-like structures of fungi, snake through the tundra's frozen earth. Though hidden from sight, these fungal filaments create a vast web, linking the roots of Arctic willows, birches, and dwarf shrubs. Through this wood-wide web, nutrients and water are exchanged, messages of stress and scarcity transmitted across the landscape. When one plant suffers from drought or injury, chemical signals travel through the mycelium, alerting neighbours to brace for hardship. In this way, the tundra's flora stands united against the elements, an underground alliance forged in silence. Above, on the surface, lichens, a partnership between fungi and algae, cling to rocks and tree bark, their presence signalling the cleanest of air. These resilient organisms slowly break down stone, releasing minerals that nourish the next generation of mosses and plants. Their silent labour is the foundation of Arctic renewal, creating pockets of life where only the hardiest can survive. Even the Arctic lemming, darting through its maze of snow tunnels, plays a part in these hidden networks. As it forages for roots and seeds, it disperses fungal spores and plant material, helping to stitch together the tapestry of life beneath the snow. Every tunnel, every paw print, every strand of mycelium is a thread in a vast living web, one that binds the Arctic's great and small in mutual dependence. In the land of ice and shadow, where survival often appears solitary, the true secret of endurance lies in quiet cooperation. The Arctic's silent networks remind us that beneath the harshest surfaces, life's greatest strength is its ability to connect. Above the frozen ground, The Arctic air swirls with invisible purpose, a force as vital as any river or root. Each breath of wind carries more than chill. It moves seeds, spores and stories across the endless white. In these vast expanses, the air is a silent courier, guiding the migration of pollen from the trembling leaves of dwarf birch to the waiting flowers of Arctic poppy. Even in the coldest months, when the sun barely grazes the horizon, microscopic life floats on the currents, drifting between ice crystals and snowflakes. With every gust, the tundra's surface is subtly reshaped. Drifts of snow carve new contours, sheltering lemmings and voles in insulated pockets. The wind sculpts the land, but it also breathes life into it, dispersing nutrients, distributing warmth, and carrying the scents that signal the change of seasons. For the Arctic fox, a distant whiff of muskox or ptarmigan on the breeze is a lifeline. For the willow ptarmigan, the first trace of thaw in the air signals time to molt and move. High above, clouds form and dissolve with the shifting winds, bringing brief flurries or rare life-giving rain. These weather patterns, gentle or fierce, set the rhythm for every living thing below. Even the smallest mosses and lichens sense the moisture in the air, opening their cells to drink in what they need for survival. The Arctic's breath is more than mere movement. It is a silent symphony of exchange and renewal. It connects distant valleys and isolated ridges, carrying resilience from one corner of the wilderness to another. In the endless cycle of wind and weather, the tundra finds its voice, a whisper that sustains the web of life, unseen but ever present in the cold embrace of the north.